Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ranting Atheist podcast. Today we'll be listening to the deconversion story of a Ghanaian atheist. They were raised in a Methodist background, but as they grew older and began to make decisions for themselves, they found themselves in Islam, then later Rastafarian, before finally getting free of all forms of superstition. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you are yet to subscribe, please consider subscribing on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and other places podcasts are available. Then check out the show notes for links you may find useful, including our Discord server. We would love to have you there. So now, let's go and listen to the deconversion story of Opele. Hello, Opele, and you're welcome to the Ranting Atheist podcast. How you doing now?
Oh, bro, we day inside. We are just We are just Nigerian unless Ghana is just Nigerian unless same problem as you people. We have this electricity issue, unemployment, and all these things going on, but we are managing.
But
we can't kill ourselves.
I feel it's to a lower degree, but there's always problem everywhere.
The difference between Ghana and Nigeria is just the population. If we had even half of the population Nigeria has, it would have been very, very extremely difficult. And if we had the Islamic population as much as you people also had, we would have been facing the same terror here.
Yes. Yes, I think that. But what's stopping the Christians there from becoming terrorists with the way they are moving mad and creating stupid laws?
But I think Christianity has moved from its radical phase. So let me say the leaders, the people that actually are the pioneers countries for Christianity, like Rome, like England, they become more like a secular liberal state. That is why Africans are. We see the countries that the Christians look up to are more becoming liberal. So Christians will not come and say we want to kill someone because England is not doing it. Rome is not doing it. But if it was going on like it goes on in Iraq, in Saudi Arabia, in these Islamic countries, it would have probably been going on in Africa as well.
Yes. That's why I'm like, and they like to do that, try that with Islam. It shows that they're like jealous. They are jealous that Muslims can kill blasphemers. That's what it gives me. I hear that a lot.
Sometimes you get jealous. It's raining heavily here, like crazily heavily.
Wow. So, it just finished falling here throughout the day. We are just resting. It's like it came from, so it means that it's moving from east to west.
I'm happy you can hear me.
Wow.
I thought you wouldn't even be able to hear me. I'm even inside, but the rain is crazy, like it's raining heavily. But I can hear you too, so it's fine.
Okay. Let's. It's almost sounds like you're shouting.
Yeah, I'm trying to shout so you can hear me clearly.
We should not try again or wait because you are going to shout.
No. Let's move on.
Okay.
As long as you can hear me clearly and the rain is not interfering, I'm cool.
Okay. So you're welcome, Opele. You have already told us we start that you're from Ghana. So we'd like to know a little more about you, like your age, what you do for a living. Are you single? Have they snatched you? And other things you'd like to add.
Oh, okay. So my name is my Opele is just my native name, right? My registered name is Michael Echo Smith Richardson. So I have this English name. The tribe that I belong to were the first people to be colonized by the whites because of the coastal area that we found ourselves. So most of us still bear the Western, this St. Johnson, Samson name. So in Ghana, normally if you hear people with these surnames that ends with the son, the S-O-N, it
Yeah.
means you are a Fanti. So my tribe is called Fanti. So my name is
Oh,
Richardson. And then I completed university with Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in 2017. I worked
oh,
for a while and then unemployment suddenly came in. So for now, I'm a bit unemployed. But as a boy, you can't stay home. You have to do your own
yeah.
one to just to keep yourself moving.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm currently single, and then wahala for Africa. If you want to be in a relationship, it's like school feeding program right now. So you would need to feed women. So if you're not financially stable, I always advise myself not to go into that because the stress from that side is more. Women in Africa don't believe that, most of them don't believe that they are not commodities. They want to be treated as commodities. So they feel like when they are in a relationship with you, you are purchasing them. Sorry to say, I'm not saying all of them, but from my experience, most of the ladies that I've come across in my part of the world, they feel like, okay, as a man, you would need to buy me this, you would need to feed me this, you would need to earn this here. So this is what is going on. So it's better I stay off this stressful stuff. If you have the money and you want to go into the relationship, fine. But for now, I don't think I'm financially stable enough to be in a relationship. Yeah.
It's the really the other, but it's the religion that is for that we blame for this rubbish. That's because it usually gives the men the audacity to feel like they own the women, like they are
Women, yeah.
so it's a cumulative problem that still stems from this religious stupidity. So, and that's what we are trying to fight little by little, especially we West Africans. Like there's it's like the indoctrination in West Africa is different from East Africa. As in, I've noticed that difference. There's this. I don't know whether it's all in my head or maybe somebody else that has better facts. But I still feel there's a difference in the religious thinking compared to the East. But that's that. I'm not a historian. I'll find that out later. So, bro, you're welcome. You're welcome. Uh,
All right, thank you.
uh, so what do you identify as? Do you identify as an atheist, agnostic? You don't do labels or irreligious? How exactly do you
I
do you
think
identify?
I'm an atheist, and I don't see any difference between an agnostic and an atheist, right?
Why?
So I I've always said that maybe I might people don't really understand what atheism is, right? So
Yeah,
basically, an atheist is just saying that people are saying the universe has a creator, right?
yeah,
Without any evidence. So the atheist is saying that, okay, I don't believe they claim that the universe has a creator until I find that evidence. I see a compelling evidence for the creator. That doesn't mean the atheist is saying that there is no creator, but the atheist is saying that the evidence that the religious people or the theists are providing is not convincing enough to be
yeah,
accepted. So therefore, the lack of compelling evidence is actually making me hold back my belief in a creator. And then the agnostic is saying that, okay, we can never know whether the universe has a creator or not. So I think the atheist doesn't say he knows the universe has a creator or it doesn't have, right? No atheist can boastfully say that I know the universe has no creator because
yeah,
we all can't prove that the universe has no creator or it does have a creator. So I think atheism and agnosticism are basically the same. Agnosticism is just saying that we can never know whether the universe has a creator or not. And then the atheist is just reacting to the answer that the theist is giving that the universe has a creator. So the atheist is saying that until I get a compelling evidence, I'm not going to believe. So I
yeah.
think every atheist is an agnostic.
Hmm? Yeah, there's some not go agree, but let's see. But the agnosticism, they are not the same in the sense that they answer two different questions. So you get agnosticism
No,
is
I'm not
based
saying they
on
are the same, but I'm saying they are similar, right?
yeah, they're
So I'm
closely
saying that
related.
yes, I'm saying that an atheist is in a way an agnostic because
Yeah,
if you're an atheist, right, you don't know whether the universe has a creator or not, isn't it?
yeah,
Yes. But the atheist is basically saying that I will not believe what the theist is saying because there is no evidence for his claim.
yeah, yeah,
Aha.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But,
agree with
but
that. I agree with
I
that.
always say that agnostic people are just atheists without balls.
See, I used to say that before, but knowing the different backgrounds of people have to they do choose how they identify outside due to whether
Yes. And that is
family
true.
or financial issues. So saying they don't have balls feels like a mockery of their situation.
Yes.
Even me
And
that
then
is
that, yeah,
doing
that is a bit
me
condescending.
yeah, me that is doing podcast self, my parents don't know I'm an atheist. So who am I who am I to now be condescending towards people that atheists but they identify as agnostic just to get any nonsense person off their back. So I
So,
don't I don't I
but
don't
I totally agree with agnostics, and that is a fact. We all don't know. We all don't know. The truth of the matter is nobody knows whether the universe has a creator or not, right?
yeah.
I am convinced that the answers that the religious people are giving are just false, made up stories, right? Or answers, right? So
Yeah.
that is what I'm convinced. But I cannot prove or disprove that the universe actually maybe created itself, or there is no creator, or there are multiverses that comes out of multiverses and that is infinite. Nobody can actually prove that, right? So
Yeah.
what I always say is I don't know. And this is what the problem that peers find it difficult to say. I've always said that once you admit that you don't know something, right? You don't shut down your curiosity. And curiosity is what has led human beings to actually achieve a lot of inventions. So
Yes.
once you you say, okay, let me fix, let me just find any answer to fix into the gaps of the unknown, right?
Yeah.
Whether the answer is true or false, it just stops your curiosity to find the true answer. So I think God is just a lazy answer for us to actually know what the universe is actually made up of or how it actually started. We have cosmology that is doing that work. You can't be sitting in Saudi Arabia, in a desert in Saudi Arabia, call yourself Muhammad and want to tell me how the universe actually began. If you want to study the sun, you need to send probes to revolve around the sun to study the sun, to know the composition of the sun. If you want to study what is in the sea, you send like like I don't know how to call it, like ships that can go deep down into the sea to actually search what is inside the sea, right?
Submarines. Yeah.
Marine, yeah. So that is basically what I think we should do, other than just fixing it. I think God is just the laziest answer to put into the gaps of the unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because it's what the majority of us were brought up in. There was no we've always been told the spirit realm, both media, both by people, there's just reinforcement of the superstitiousness of everything. So I don't blame anybody. It's just that they are causing harm. There's it's not benign. It's not, they don't keep it to themselves. So that's what
Yes.
that's why I've picked up a mic and I'm on a campaign against delusion. It's sick, especially we in Africa. We are the politicians just use it to their advantage. So which takes me to
Yeah. Because
hmm?
Mhm.
Because
Oh, you
continue.
can ask your question.
So my question is taking
Oh,
me
I was
towards
just
yours. So
saying
finish up.
religion is just a political tool. So I totally believe that. I totally believe that the curiosity, right? Religion
Yeah.
actually came. The concept of God or theism or religion actually came as a result of human curiosity. So we
Yeah.
were just asking ourselves, so where did these stars come from? Where does
Yeah.
this universe come from? And
Yeah.
then someone somewhere who is a politician or and a con artist actually said that, okay, therefore I need power. So why can't I say there is a creator of this universe and he only speaks through me? So therefore he tells me to tell you to do this. If you don't do it, the politician wants to control you. So therefore he made up. So if I'm to propose to use the biblical characters to give the best political, the Moses would be the best political figure, right? Because he wanted to control the people. He said, there is a God who chose me to give you these 10 commandments, and you are supposed to do this and do this. If you don't do this, he commands me to kill you. So
Yeah.
politicians actually, religion is just a political tool. That is why African politicians can never can never throw it away, because if they throw religion away, we will be killing them,
Yes.
because there will be no pastor to tell you that the sufferings that we are suffering right now are as a result of the end times, so that you will become a meek. There will be no pastor to tell you that Jesus was preaching and then he said,
Principalities and power.
blessed is the meek. You get me?
Principalities
So
and power. The
politics,
principalities and powers are bloody human beings.
yes, the devils, yes. It is the Satan, then the Satan, and then the devils in the marine spirit. That is how many, other than telling you that it's the politician that is making your life miserable. So I think the politicians and pastors are the same people using different means to actually lie to us. So the politician is just using his political, you get it,
Yeah, Religion is just a
con
political tool,
artistry, and then
especially.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's very clear. Like for Nigeria example, for example, it's very a very useful tool in the northern part because it's a majority Muslim region. So it's easy to galvanize people using Islam. It's
Very true,
yes, it's
very true.
everybody in one mind. It's just a hey, good there. The Lord said that one. The Lord, so it's Allah said according to the Quran, according to the Bible. It's a very fantastic control tool. So with that, let's jump into how is it what would I call it now, the religious demographics in Ghana? How is it like? What's give me as a Nigerian? What is it? What's the religious atmosphere like here in Nigeria? We have the Christians on one side, Muslims in one side. Yeah, that's in the south. Christianity, full different denominations. In the north, there are almost majority Sunni and very few Shia people. So how is the religious demographics of Ghana like, or what is it like?
Ca- Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, bro, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Wow, lost him
Hello?
again. I can hear
Yeah,
you.
I'm here.
Can you hear
Uh-huh.
me?
So I was, yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I was
Uh-huh.
asking you a question.
So I
Like, did you
think,
hear my question at all?
yeah, I had your question. Yeah, I had your question.
Okay, okay.
So I think Ghana and Nigeria, we are almost the same. So in Ghana too, the difference is the Islamic population in Ghana is very low as compared to Nigeria. So the Islamic population in Ghana is less than 20%. So I
Okay.
think probably around 17%. Christians are more than, I think they are more than 78 to 80%. And then they also, most of them are found in the northern part of Ghana. So we have the northern region, the upper west, upper east, and then the west and northern region. They are those religions. Those regions are made up of
Majority Muslims.
Muslims, right? And the south, the north, we don't have enough people actually inhabiting those places, right? So it's just vast land with few people as compared to the south. The south, And then the South has almost like 95% Christians. It's just only the North that actually bridges the gap to send it to more than 15 to 17%. So that's how it is now. And then in
What kind of
Ghana, we don't
Christianity?
really have.
Yeah,
We
continue,
have
continue.
every kind of Christianity in Ghana is similar to what is in Nigeria. We have CCI, like you people also have in Nigeria. We have Pastor Chris Church, Christ Embassy in Ghana. We have the Catholic, we have the Protestant, we have those charismatic churches that, like I mentioned, we have similar ones. In if it comes to Islam, too, we have the Ahmadiyya, and then we have the Sunnah. Sorry, the Sunni Muslim as well. So yeah, it's very very similar. Like it's very very similar as compared to Nigeria. And then we have the traditional belief system, but that is not as dominant. I think that will be probably less than 1% or 2% of the entire population.
Yeah, like in the case of similarity, it's like the reason why, just like Nigeria, like the southern part of Nigeria is majority Christian. Is it because the British people came with their ships, started spreading from the coast, which is the south of the country, then the north was invaded by the Usman Danfodio's.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would be similar because in Ghana.
Is he the one that brought it to Ghana too?
No, I don't, honestly, I don't know about that though.
Oh, okay, I'll go look down up. But yeah, so let's dive into your own background, your own religious background. Give us the origin story, how you were brought up to the very point when you discovered, man, this is some bullshit.
Okay, so I think I was born into a Methodist family, but my dad wasn't really a religious person. He didn't really like going to church, but my mom was very, very religious. My mom, we are four boys. I'm the last born. We are four boys. So growing up, my mom used to force us to go to church. You have to go to church on Sundays. If you don't go to church, you don't get your chop money. So you would need, even if you don't want to go, you have to go. Yeah. So when I was in JH, when I was in primary school, we had a lot of questions. So I think my first question I asked, I think this question most of us probably have asked ourselves. I think I was like 7 or 8 years. I came back from church and then I asked my mom, who actually created God. And she was like, hey, don't ask this question. If you think about these things, you go mad. And I wasn't really satisfied with that answer. Yeah. So I think when I was in JHS, I used to go to different churches because I was born into Methodist. So sometimes they will give me money to go to church and then I'll go to a different church. My mom didn't really have a problem with me going to different churches, right? So I could go to the Roman church. I just wanted to find answers. I just wanted to find answers to the questions that I was seeking. So fast forward, when I completed JHS and then I went to SHS, I went to a Catholic school. So in Ghana, the Catholic schools, they don't allow any denomination.
Forgive my Nigerian ass for interrupting. JHS, like the primary, like your elementary, have you?
The JHS is the junior high school, and then you go to the senior high. The secondary school. So we have you go to the primary, it's similar in Nigeria, right? You go to primary, you go to junior high, and then you go to senior high. Yeah. So when I went to senior high, so when I went to senior high school, I went to a Catholic school, and the Catholic school, they don't allow any denomination. So when I went there, I was learning different things about the Catholic Church. So now I know everything about the Catholic Church. I was learning a lot. You are forced to go to
Catholic.
No, you don't pretend. Whether you're a Muslim, even if everybody knows that you're a Muslim, you would need to go to the Catholic Church. You go for morning mass, you go for the rosary, you go for station. It's compulsory. You don't need to go to any church in that school. So they didn't allow any denomination, unlike when you go to some Methodist churches where we have different denomination for Pentecostal people and all that stuff. They didn't have that in Catholic school. So I learned a lot about the Catholic church, and then I was reading, and then I was very inquisitive. So yeah. Fast forward, when I went to the university, I went to Assemblies of God. That was when I joined Christ Embassy. I was learning because I wanted to find answers. I joined Christ Embassy, I joined CCI, and then I joined different churches as well. So I realized the Christianity was very confusing, because if you move to this church searching for answers, you get more confused as you move to this church and you move to this church. So I left Christianity and then I became a Muslim in 2015. And then I started reading the Quran. That was when I started reading the Quran. Yeah, I read the Quran.
You declared the Shahada. How does one? They say you revert to Islam. How is that like? What was that process of reverting?
So what happened was, one of my best friends was a Muslim, right? So I told him I wanted to join Islam. So he gave me a translated Quran, like the English version. So they gave me an Islamic name, and then they made me do something. I've forgotten the name. I've forgotten, but they made me do something, and they gave me some Islamic name. And then
do something like you said some words, Abi. You said some words.
Yeah. Prayers.
I think it's Shahada. I think it was something like Shahada.
Yeah, I've forgotten the name, but maybe when I remember. So I used to go to prayers on Sunday. So he taught me how to pray, like the prayer, how I could pray. And then he said it doesn't matter. I don't need to learn Arabic because I'm grown up now. I don't need to learn how to recite. I can just read the Quran in English. So I was reading the Quran. So that was when I even got to know that there are different sets of Islam. I didn't even know. I thought Muslims were the same, because that was the idea that was being told us. Okay, yeah, Muslims are the same. We don't have different set. The Quran is just perfect. It has not been like we don't have different versions and. So when I started reading it, I realized that all these things were false. So I left Islam. When I read this Sahih Bukhari,
can you give some specifics, like things that have caught your interest and realized
okay, so the first thing that got my interest in Islam was some of the miracles that Muhammad actually performed, like splitting of the moon, and then when he married the 6-year-old girl. I think that was the second thing that drove me. So I wanted to find out from my friend, and my friend didn't even know Muhammad married a girl that was 6 years old. So I read that from the Sahih book. So, and the funny thing is, I used to listen to Islamic scholars. They see this guy, this Naik or something guy.
Zak Naik.
Exactly, Naik, yeah, that guy. So I used to, my friend recommended that I should listen to him. That guy is so great. And then, so when I was listening to him, I realized that people were asking him these questions. Why was Muhammad a warrior? Why was Muhammad marrying a 9-year-old girl? Why was Muhammad killing? So these were the things that I was finding that in the YouTube videos that my friend actually recommended I should listen to him. He give clear answers, and then he's learned. And then the more I listened to that guy, I realized that he was saying rubbish. So I realized that Christianity and Islam are just the same, just that some slight similarities. So I left, and then I became a Rastafarian. I was a Rasta for a while. I believed Haile Selassie is the African king. And then I realized that one too was just an African branded Christianity, right? Rebranded African Christianity. It's just Christianity that Africans are just creating. So, yeah. Yes, the difference between them and the Christians is just that they believe that the second coming of Jesus Christ has already happened, which is Haile Selassie. So they are just. So I left that, and then I think in 2018, I think I became an atheist. Initially, when I left, I was calling myself a deist. So because I believe that the universe cannot exist on its own. So maybe there is a creator, but the creator doesn't reveal itself So I was more like a deist. And then I realized
But
that the more I became deistic,
that argument used to irritate me. And like, always like, you said you
yes.
think there's a like, how did you know if the creator
So
fucked
I
off?
was I was on a space and the people started asking me questions about that. So what makes you think you're different from a religious person? Because and then the more I tried to answer that question, I realized that the more religious I sounded. Do you get me?
Yeah,
So hello?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You can
Can
hear
you
me,
hear
right?
me? I can hear you. You
Yeah.
lost me.
So the more I was trying to defend deism, right? It was more like I was becoming more religious because the argument that you are using, okay, so you think there is a creator. Where does the creator come from? How did the creator create this universe? So
Mm-hmm.
I was trying, people were asking me very sensible questions. So I was like, nah, this one it's like you are just a religious person trying to hide yourself from religious doctrines.
You're
So
removing
I was
you're removing the
doctrines away.
Jesus or the Allah
The
doctrines.
Muhammad
It's
away.
just you're just
But
taking the skeleton bare bones.
yes,
Like there's still somebody up there, but it's not
up
somebody that is
there.
like telling you go
Yes.
here, go there. They're not like actively telling you their
Nice
intents, their
one.
thoughts. Yeah.
Nice one.
But wait,
That
oh, you're an
exactly the same.
African. Oh. You are an African. Yes, you were from a Methodist to a Muslim to a Rastafari. But all this period, you
But
still
I never
believed
joined.
in the African. No, no, you don't need to join now because even Christians in Nigeria they
Yes,
believe
yes.
juju,
I used to
voodoo.
at that time. I used to believe. I used to believe that those juju things were real. So I was a bit scared. I was even though I didn't join, right? Because
Yeah,
growing up, I had this perception that that is a bad way, right? A bad way because it is actually there to actually harm people and stuff. So I never joined the African spirituality, though I knew about it. So it was 2018 that I was watching more documentaries. I was finding answers. I was watching how people who claim. So I think I watched this guy. There's this guy who died recently. His name is James Randi. So he
yeah,
was one
yeah,
of the top magicians, and then he was going around exposing
yeah.
people who
Tricks.
claim to have supernatural powers. Yeah.
Yeah,
I realized those things were fake because he has claimed that if someone thinks they have paranormal ability, they could just win $1 million and everybody's scared. And then I realized I started asking myself questions like, okay, so if Juju was really powerful, how come white people were just able to colonize us with just guns? Because we had antidotes for
yo,
guns, and I was asking
they
these
enslaved
questions, and
us
then
twice, so not once. They
yes,
first of all came and carried us away. Then
over
I said, okay, let's not carry them away. Let's chop them on their own
let's
land.
colonize them. Yes. So over 400 to 500 years, and then through colonize, so almost like 600. Let me say almost like 600, almost like
Has
500
it
to
even
600
ended?
years. Yeah, it's still going on. So I was, and then it was something. One time I asked myself this question: why is it that it is only black people that can curse black people? It seems when a white man does something bad to us, we can't curse him. They can come here,
Oh,
do any shit that they like, and we can't curse them. Is it that the girls are racist and then they hate their own? So these questions made me realize that it was just fear factor. So one day I realized one pattern, right? There was a day I was having an argument with a pastor, right? And then the pastor,
yeah,
all he could say was just, you will suffer, you will do this. And then I was like, we just started with an argument, but all you are doing is just trying to just bully me with your fear mongering tactics.
yeah.
But I've realized that it doesn't work. And then I had similar argument on space with a traditional believer who claims to have
Mm-hmm.
this magical this thing. And then he was
Power.
also using the same tactics. And I realized that these niggas are all the same. Like
Yeah.
all they do is just use, and then I realized, no, they don't have power. So there was a time I was on a space with some Nigerians, and then there was this guy that said that, Opele, if you're a man, send me your pictures, I will see. And then I sent the guy the picture, and then he said he wanted my details. So so there was a lot of people there, a lot of atheists from Ghana and Nigeria. It was a this guy, his name is R15. He used to hold this space every Sunday. So we're having this argument, and these guys were trying to bully me. Immediately they came, they was like, Opele, if you think juju doesn't work, send me your picture. And then I sent the picture, and then he said I should send my details. So I sent my Ghana card. In Ghana, we have this Ghana card that everybody,
Like
if
identification,
you are
like a
15 and
national
above,
identification.
yes, like national identification. So you can't use false document on it. So I took a picture of it and I sent so my date of birth and everything was on it so that he will know that I'm serious. Immediately I sent it, he was like, I don't want to do anything to you so that you would need to see my law and I would need to see my lawyer first. And I'm like, no. Right now I'm
Oh,
realizing one pattern. Immediately you
lawyer.
challenge. Yes, immediately because in our constitution, right? If you don't physically kill someone, there is no way you could be arrested. There is no
Mm-hmm.
provision for spiritual killing.
He
So
doesn't
even
even
if you
need to
do,
kill you.
yes, yeah. So I told him. He said he can make me die, and then I said, okay, we should find time. So within 3 days, I'm supposed to die. So if I don't die within that 3 days, it means the juju is like, oh. So that day I changed a lot because the way I was challenging him, he withdrew all he was saying, and then he said, so a lot of people who were even more like becoming atheists, but they were scared of this African spirituality. There was that day that they became firm because I realized that it is just fear mongering tactics that they
Yes,
all
sir.
use. And yeah, so
It's always fear. Always fear.
as
Yeah.
for those people, I don't fear them. I don't fear them at all. The African juju people. I know me, the only thing that gives me the confidence is if they had power, we wouldn't have been made slaves and been colonized for. So
We will not
it
have
even it bangs
English
their
as
power.
our first
Yes.
language.
And our chiefs were being made subordinate to the white people, and then some of their children were even carried as slaves and stuff. So I'm so convinced that the universe it is we are part of the universe. We are just insignificant number of the universe who are just thinking we are so special, and the universe is here because of us, not because we are here because the universe we find ourselves in the universe. We are just some insignificant human like species because we have billions of species that has lived on this earth and have gone extinct. Some were
You
even
know,
close to us.
the way you are saying it, like in my own head, I'm just like we are just a bunch of apes clinging to a spinning rock that is
Oh,
moving
yes,
at
yes,
high speed around a star.
yes.
We
And
are
then and then
clinging to
and then
this
I
rock.
started learning. And then I started learning more about how big the universe was. So when I became an atheist, right? It
Yeah.
was every day more about documentaries. When I get back from work, I'll come and then watch documentaries studying about the universe. And I realized the more I learn about the universe, the more I see how complex the universe is. It's so big. It's so like extremely big. You compare our solar our galaxy to other galaxies, our solar system to the galaxy, and then it looks like a dot inside the whole of the earth. That is our
Mm.
solar system inside our galaxy. And then you compare our galaxy, and then our galaxy also looks like a dot inside the whole of this earth
And we are on a
against this
collision
galaxy. And
course
we are
with
billions.
another.
Yes. We have billions of galaxies. I realized now these things can't be created by Jesus Christ. Like it's crazy. Like so I was so convinced. That
That
even if there
the
is a creator,
you will notice the holy books are someone like you who has even at least done more than one religion. You will see that everything is still earth centric. In fact, most of them are
oh yeah,
usually
yeah, 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 yeah.
region is just a particular region that is focused on. And that's how the man-made element in it becomes so glaring.
Yeah. And then the more you look at it, you realize that they couldn't say anything special, right? So the knowledge available to them is what they used to write the book. So if they are talking about angels, back then angels didn't have gun because right now guns are the most powerful. Guns and atomic bombs or nuclear bombs are the most powerful things, right?
Missiles,
You
yeah.
see, back then the most powerful weapons were probably the
Swords and
sword,
arrows.
right? Yeah, so they were writing about them. Back then, valuable minerals were more like gold. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
have internet, so the precious things that we have, if they had cars
Heaven
back
is made
then, they
of
would have
gold.
said that. Yes, they would have said that when you go to heaven, you have cars made up of gold, you have
Yeah.
free internet
You have
access, you
high
get
speed
it, you get
internet, 10
yachts and
million,
those kind of
10
things.
million
But you realize that
per
they
second.
didn't know. And then if you look at the Genesis story, if you look at the stars, they didn't know these stars were so big. So even in Revelation, it says that during the end time, the stars will be falling onto the earth.
Falling from the sky. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
there?
So the more I looked into it, the more I realized it's just a man-made thing. A person with limited knowledge looking into the universe, trying to just make sense of it, writing what he feels, and creating God out of it. So men just created God from our own image. So if you look at God in all these religions, God behaves like human beings. He has favorite people like human beings
Getting
do have
angry.
favorite people.
Ah,
He gets angry. Yes. He gets
very
angry. Things
jealous.
that people don't like. So yes, if those people who wrote the Bible, they really didn't like homosexuals, so they had to say that God doesn't like homosexuals. Like, so it looked like a human made thing. And then I once asked the question that why is it that it's only always human beings who is defending God? Can't God come and then appear and then defend himself? Realize that those people who actually make things defend the things themselves. So they created God. So God is just in the image of human beings. So it is human beings that is supposed to defend God. So I think 2018 was my firm time, like that was when I realized that now I'm an atheist. So yeah.
Wow. We had to wait for 2 years later. If not for COVID, I don't know where we be. Yeah, really. The story has been awesome. But do you have any advice for someone that's going through something similar? Someone that was looking for answers, moving from one form of religion to the other. What advice? Looking for answers. What advice would you have for such a person?
For me, I think you should just watch religious debates, right? Listen to some people who actually ask questions, and then I think you should also, if you're on Twitter, normally go to Twitter Spaces. There are a lot of religious debates. You go to YouTube, you get a lot of debates, and then you know that most of the times the religious people are not saying anything sensible. So those were the things that actually, because I used to watch some Harris debates. This guy could actually school these religious people, and the guy that died from cancer, what's his name?
Hitchens. Christopher
Hitchens,
Hitchens.
yeah, Hitchens. And then I was watching this guy to Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan was more like
The
an atheist who was
science,
more science
yeah,
field, yeah. So
science communicator.
so I was watching, yeah. So I think if one thing is, if you study more about the universe, you realize religion is fake. Just learn the science of the universe. Yeah. And then learn more about the history of these religions. You see how radical they were. You read the
Yeah,
Bible too as well. Because me, I've
that's
read the
the
Bible twice and I've read the Quran too. I didn't finish reading the Quran though, but I know a lot of things in the Quran. But I've read the Bible. I finished reading the Bible 2 times in my life though.
Yeah, I would like to see you in action against Muslims because the Christians like to say,
Oh,
try
I
not to do
have.
Islam. Why are you always
I
going?
have.
I'm like,
And the funny thing
I've
is,
concluded this
the funny
bullshit
thing
before I
is,
even became an
fu-
atheist. So I beg.
Funny thing is, maybe you've not been on Spaces because there was a time this guy would create space for me to actually come in because he knew I was the one who was an atheist and has knowledge in Islam, so he would create space and call me to come and challenge the Muslims. So I used to. I am one person that if my friends have argument with Muslims, right? Because most of my friends were Christians and they became atheists, so they don't know much about Islam, right? But
Yeah.
anytime they have any religious arguments pertaining to Islam, they will just call me. I've had countless, and I don't fear them. I don't fear them. So the thing is, if you make them bully you, that is when they think they have the power. Like you challenge them. So sometimes I'll be there, and then I'll be calling their prophet pedophile. You are stupid for following a
And
pedophilic prophet and stuff. Like I
they
make
start
them know
threatening
that
with
they can't
death.
use. Yes, I make them know that their bullying tactics does not work on me, and I think that is what people should be like, because the person who is suppressing you, right? He will never stop using the bullying tactics if he realizes that that works.
Yeah.
So yes, so it's like the elders in Africa. They are so stupid that they don't care how much painful it is for them to disrespect you. They will continue disrespecting you till you just speak up for yourself. So I've seen the antidote for the Islam people. So me, whenever they come with violence, I come with violence. Then sometimes there are Muslims who don't come with violence. They just want to debate like constructively, and then I go with constructive arguments too as well. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the few ones that one can engage with. The ones that come with fatwa. That's those ones.
And then the more you argue with Muslims, the more you know that they are very, very ignorant. The African Muslims are the most ignorant people ever. Like, some Christians have watched better debates, right? In philosophy and stuff. Muslims, they don't know anything like that.
Yes,
All they listen to is their scholars. Their scholars, and most of their scholars are dumb. Like this Zakir Naik. He's one of the dumbest people I've listened to. There was a time they asked him a question. He went to India, and then a medical student who actually knows that evolution is a fact asked him about evolution, right? And then he said, evolution is not, there is no place in science that says that the fact of evolution is just a theory. And when we say theory, you see, he doesn't even know the difference between a scientific theory and then the normal theory that we use. You see, yeah. And then he was saying that, okay, even in evolution, he was saying some things, and then he came to some point, and then he said the Homo sapiens actually went extinct. I was like, what the fuck was wrong with this guy? I will send you that. Immediately we finish this debate, I will send you that video that he was saying that there was a time Homo sapiens went extinct. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? Homo sapiens are human beings. How the fuck did we go extinct?
How did Homo sapiens go extinct and still come back?
And then one thing I've realized it immediately. If immediately you are debating a religious person, and then he makes a bold claim of his position, like, I used to be an atheist, I'm even a medical doctor, I am even this, I've realized that they're about to say nonsense. So immediately that Zakanaik guy said, I'm even a medical doctor, I realized that he was coming to say bullshit, and then he was saying bullshit because evolution is the most substantiated scientific knowledge we ever had. Like, there is no scientific knowledge that has more evidence than evolution. Evolution has millions of sorry, I said millions, like hundreds of evidence more than even gravity. But people don't debate that gravity is true, right?
But evolution is obvious. But although
yes, but I'm saying that evolution.
I saw one podcast. I saw like this gravity. I'm like, is this real? This can't be real, please. Anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying that even evolution has more evidence to back it than, like, evolution has a lot of evidence from embryology to comparative anatomy to all these things. Yes, even if we are using vaccines, like how mosquitoes sometimes become, how these microorganisms or pathogens actually evolve, right? We have a lot of evidence to actually back evolution than gravity. So I realized that, and I realized one thing I realized too is that religion actually tames you from learning, because even when I was in secondary school, I realized people actually made me believe that evolution is just atheists actually trying to convince us that there is no God. That is why we have evolution. So that is what my biology madam said. Not that it's even a science. It's just that some scientists who don't believe in God are just bringing in something that is trying to convince us that there is no God. I was like, cool. Okay. Oh. So when I grew up, and then the truth of the matter is, the average Ghanaian who did science in the secondary school doesn't even know what evolution is.
It's
They
almost the
go around
same in
saying that,
Nigeria.
okay, yeah, because I've had countless debates with Nigerians, so I know. I know. They will say, science will tell you that we came from monkeys.
Why are there still
Immediately, the person
monkeys?
says that, yes, why are there still monkeys? And then the question I always ask them is, we didn't even come from monkeys. That's not what evolution says. Evolution says that we have common ancestors with monkeys and chimpanzees. It's like you and your brother having a common ancestor who is your mother and your father, right? So we had common ancestor that used to be different from us, but we came from that. So the question I ask them is, let's even say we came from monkeys, right? And then you are saying that why are there still monkeys? So does it mean that if something came out of something, it means the older one
The other
should
thing will
vanish?
die.
So if that is true, so if Methodist and Anglican came out of the Catholic Church, why is
is
the
there still
Catholic Church
Catholic
still
Church?
there? Why is the
What's
Catholic
the
Church not
angle?
gone?
Yeah, they don't think. They
It
don't think
makes no
that far.
sense. If you and your brother came out of your mother, is your mother still alive? He says yes. Why is your mother still alive?
Yeah, it's
Then it means that if you are
thinking is
saying that
not.
if something, yeah, if it means that if something came out of something and then the older one shouldn't be alive, then immediately your mom gives birth to you, she should die.
Truth.
And then the person was just there. He couldn't answer. So yeah, so I think that is a bit about me. Yeah.
That's been a fantastic tale. Do you want us to find you online?
Pardon?
Do you want us to find you online?
My
Like,
oh
do
yeah,
you want
yeah,
us to
yeah, yeah.
find
Oh
you
yeah.
like social media? Do you want to be found
Yeah,
online?
yeah, yeah.
Where can we
Me,
find you?
if you want to, only Twitter. I don't actually use any social media frequently,
That's
like
wonderful.
unlike Twitter. So I am Opele. Just at I am Opele. IAMOPELE. I am Opele on Twitter. Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll put the link in the show notes. Opele, yeah, it's been an
Yeah, bro.
awesome share. I really enjoyed you sharing your story with us.
Thank you very
So
much, too.
thank you for reaching
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
and letting us know that religion is as really people are waking up in West Africa little by little.
Oh
I
yeah,
hope
yeah.
to I hope to speak to an atheist from Benin, from Togo, from Gabon, from Cote d'Ivoire. Let's all start opening our eyes westward before we spread around the whole of
I think the
Africa.
problem
Because
with those people is just the language barrier. So if those people were
yeah,
to speak
French.
English or we would have had them easily. Sometimes they don't even understand what you are saying. We also don't understand their French. So I think the barrier is the problem.
Fucking
Yeah.
colonizers fucked it up. But it's all good. We'll do our best. At least there might be a few of them that understand English enough to speak to us.
Yeah.
Because some of that French, now they go.
Yeah. But
Comment ça
I have
va?
a quote. I have a quote that I always go with. I think I learned that from Neil deGrasse Tyson. And
Okay.
he says that God is in an ever receding pocket of scientific ignorance.
Yeah.
So
Ever.
people fix in God when they don't understand something. So the question he
Yes.
asks is, so when we're able to find answers to that thing that you fix God into it, does that mean God doesn't exist?
No, the God keeps shifting.
That's a question.
God
Yes.
keeps
So
shifting
God
till infinity.
shrinks.
Till
Yes. So
infinity.
what he said, no, but Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying that God shrinks as knowledge gets
Increases.
bigger, or yes, as knowledge increases. That is why most religions that came, religion used to be more back then than now, but a lot of them have died. We can talk about the Greek religions, the Egyptians religions, and most of them have died all because of knowledge. Because right now we know what causes rainfall. We know that rainfall is not caused by Zeus or any Greek god. So back, people were inserting God into any mystery. So they had God of war, God of fertility, God of farming, God of this. Right now, we know farming is done by proper farming practices, better irrigation and stuff, better sunshine. So all these things, we don't need any God to help us do them. We don't need to make any sacrifices to them. But I really enjoyed the conversation too. And then if someone wants to reach out to me, I am Opele on Twitter. I am Opele, IAMOPLE. Thank you for your time as well. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please subscribe up Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and other places podcasts are available. Then check out the show notes for links you may find useful, including our Discord server. Would love to have you there. Have a great week, and I will catch you on the next one.